Thank you very much indeed. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong and welcome to Pointless, the quiz show where we are always striving to find the most obscure answers. Let's meet today's players. And couple number one.
Hi, Sander. I'm Aggie, he's Richard, and we're a brother and sister combo from Bristol.
Couple number two.
Hello, I'm Pam, this is Abby, we're mother and daughter.
Couple number three.
I'm Andrea, and this is my boyfriend, Alex.
Couple number four.
Hi, I'm Jo, this is Matthew, and we're a couple from London.
And these are today's contestants. Thanks, all of you. We'll find out more about you throughout the show as it goes along. So that just leaves one more person for me to introduce, a man so clever he can talk his socks onto his feet without even bending down. It's my pointless friend, it's Richard.
Hiya. Hi, everybody. Hiya. That'd be lovely to be able to do that, wouldn't it? To be able to talk your socks onto
for you,
your
that's
feet.
quite a journey, isn't it?
Yeah, but, you know, I've got pretty flexible hamstrings, so it's not too bad for me. We've got two returning pairs from last time. Jo and Matthew did very well, got through to their head-to-head, so it's going to be tough to beat today, but Pam and Abby are back as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they were trouble last time. They caused a lot of trouble, but it's lovely to have them back, isn't it?
Absolutely,
They're the sort of pair I was quite glad they got knocked out, because it meant we were going to see them again. That's quite nice for us.
I think.
Thanks very much. Now, all our questions on Pointless have been asked to 100 people before the show. Our contestants here need to find the obscure answers those 100 people didn't get. Of course, everyone's trying to find a pointless answer, which is an answer that none of our 100 people gave, and each time that happens, we will add £250 to the jackpot. Suzanne and Gary didn't win the jackpot last time, so we add another £1,000 to that, so today's jackpot starts off at £4,500. That's decent. Right, if everyone's ready, let's play Pointless. OK, in this first round, I'll take an answer from each of you, but there is, of course, to be no conferring. At the end of the round, whichever pair has the highest score will be heading home, so make sure that's not you. Our first category today is fiction. Fiction. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, and our question concerns literary works with one-word titles. Literary works with one-word titles. Richard.
On each pass, we're going to show you 7 literary works with one-word titles and the year in which they were released. We just need you to tell us the name of the author, please. It's going to be 14 in all to have a go at home.
Thanks very much indeed. OK, so we're looking for the authors of these literary works, and here's our first border 7. And it reads like this. Cranford, 1853. Emma, 1816. Bleachers, 2003. Dracula, 1897. Ivanhoe, 1819. Ulysses, 1922. And Atonement, 2001. I'll read those all one last time. Cranford, 1853. Emma, 1816. Bleachers, 2003. Dracula, 1897. Ivanhoe, 1819. Ulysses, 1922. And Atonement, 2001. Now, Aggie and Richard, you all drew lots before the show, and today you are going to go first. Aggie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you here from Bristol.
Well, it's great to be here.
And what do you do, Aggie?
I'm that dreaded thing, a civil servant, but I can tell you what I do.
Oh, phew. What is it?
I work at the planning inspectorate, and we listen to appeals. We hear appeals for people who've had planning applications turned down by their local councils.
OK. Now then, Aggie,
Yeah.
what do you make of this as a subject, generally?
I studied English at university, so I hopefully know some of them. I'm going to go, I think, for Atonement and Ian McEwan.
Ian McEwan, says Aggie. Let's see if that's right for Atonement. If it is, let's see how many people said Ian McEwan. It's right. Seven.
Yeah.
Good answer.
It's a wonderful book and adapted into a film in 2007 as well with Keira Knightley and James McAvoy.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. Pam.
Yes.
Welcome back to
you.
Pointless. Great to have you here again. Now, what happened last time?
It was missing members of bands that sunk me. And I think this is going to sink me as well.
I don't think the unsinkable Pam, surely. Now, listen, last time we discovered that the two big things in your life are cranes and gears.
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical
generally,
engineering, yeah.
You know.
And frogs.
And
frogs.
frogs.
And frogs, of course.
Yes, and all other things as well, and knitting. And, you know, lots of strange things.
Heavyweight boxers.
Heavyweight boxers, I'm very...
Heavyweight box.
Don't bother with the young ones, just the big, you know, the little, the big boys.
When you
OK.
Pam,
Yeah.
when you say heavyweight boxers are your hobby, just...
I don't know any personally, I'm sorry.
Pam, what are you going to go for on this board?
Well, I'm afraid this is a guess. No, it's not a guess, but I'm sorry, Abby. Ulysses, James Joyce.
James Joyce for Ulysses says, Pam, let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said James Joyce. Absolutely right. That's a fantastic answer, Pam. 31.
Yeah, I never doubted for a second you were going to do that, Pam.
I did.
You know exactly what you're doing, don't you?
She does.
You're doing what Ali did against Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. It's rope-a-dope, pretending you know nothing.
That's right.
Thanks very much. Now, Andrea.
Hello.
Andrea, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. What do you do?
I am head of music at a radio station in Brighton.
Now, that's a fun job.
I listen to pop music all day and I get paid, so yeah.
So, yeah, but head of music, so you decide what's on the playlist.
Mm-hmm. We have lots of specialist shows, but in daytime, yeah, that's all my fault.
Good stuff. Now, Andrea, we want the authors of these literary works.
I think I'm only certain on 3, and 2 of those have gone. So I'm going to have to go for one which I think is quite obvious. And I'm going to go for Emma and Jane Austen.
Emma Jane Austen, says Andrea. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Jane Austen. Absolutely right. 35.
Yes, the last novel published during her lifetime, her longest one as well. Someone's counted, and there are... How many kisses do you think there are in the entire works of Jane Austen?
How many kisses?
Yeah.
2.
14.
14. There we are. Now, Matthew, remind us what you do.
I'm an IT professional.
And remind us what you get up to when you're not doing IT.
I like cooking, and at university I actually, with a few of my friends, used to run the Kung Fu Society.
Really? Do you still keep up your Kung Fu?
I don't, unfortunately. I don't have time these days.
You must have been pretty good to run the society.
No, not really.
I love the way Joe actually just went very quietly. So not that good?
No, I got beaten up by someone very small once, and that was embarrassing, in front of the whole class.
Oh, so it happened in a Kung Fu class, I see, right, so not just on the street. OK, so what are you going to go for there, Matthew?
I think it's an obvious one, but I'm going to have to play it, because I don't know the others. I'm going to go Dracula, Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker, says Matthew for Dracula. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many people said Bram Stoker. Absolutely right. Well, 35 is our high score, 7 our low, 44 for Bram Stoker. Not bad. 4 correct answers, though. That's
Yeah, I was going to say,
impressive.
sometimes you do these rounds, you get blank faces, so very well done to all 4 of you there. It's very nicely done. Let's fill in the rest of the board, though. Cranford?
Oh, Lord, it's...
You do know it. Shall I tell you?
Yeah, tell
Elizabeth
me.
Gaskell.
Elizabeth Gaskell,
Yep,
yes.
would have scored you 10 points. Ivanhoe?
Is Sir Walter Scott?
Sir Walter Scott, yes, would have scored you 32. Now, Bleachers, I bet you don't know.
I don't know that.
It's a John Grisham novel. Would have scored 3 points. That's the best answer up there. Very well done if you said that.
Thanks very much indeed. OK, well, let's take a look at the scores. We're halfway through the round. 7, the best score of that past Aggie. Very well done indeed. Nicely chosen. Then up to 31, where we find Pam and Abby. In fact, it's exactly in the order we went. Up to 35, Andrea and Alex. And up to 44, Matthew and Joe. You're not way ahead, Joe, but you get first pick of the next board. Make sure you use it wisely. Best of luck with that. We're going to come back down the line now. Can the second players please step up to the podium? OK, we're going to put 7 more literary works on the board, and here they are. Trainspotting, 1993. Rebecca, 1938. Twilight, 2005. Lolita, 1955. Kidnapped, 1886. Popcorn, 1996. And Carrie, 1974. I'll read those all one final time. Trainspotting, 1993. Rebecca, 1938. Twilight, 2005. Lolita, 1955. Kidnapped, 1886. Popcorn, 1996. And Carrie, 1974. Now, Joe, remember, we're looking for the authors of each of these works, and you're going to need to find the one you think the fewest of our 100 people knew. Now, what do you do, Joe?
I work in IT as well. I'm a technical evangelist.
Exactly, a technical evangelist. Remember that. First time I ever heard it was on the last show. But when you're not doing that, Jo, what do you like to do?
I like cooking as well.
What's the best thing she cooks, Matthew?
It's got to be probably spaghetti bolognese, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just downplaying my talent.
Jo, spaghetti bolognese?
It's pretty good.
OK, well, fair enough. Now, you're the first one to have this board, Jo. Come on, let's pick a nice, juicy answer there.
Literacy is just really not my strong subject, so Rebecca, I guess, one of the Bronte sisters, so I'll say Charlotte Bronte.
Charlotte Bronte, Rebecca, says Jo. Charlotte Bronte, let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. No red line for you, as you are the high scorers. No, I'm really sorry, Jo. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer. It scores you the maximum of 100 points. I'm afraid you being the high scorers, that can only mean one thing. 144 is your total.
Yeah, sorry, Jo. It goes to show how well everyone did in the first round, actually, that just one wrong answer and that's it, especially after the head-to-head last time. I'll give you the correct answer at the end of the pass.
OK, now, Alex.
Hello.
Alex, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. What do you do?
Most of the time, I'm a student doing a master's at Sussex Uni.
What's the master's in?
Music and sonic media.
That's fun. What kind of music do you study?
Well, it's sort of, a lot of it's kind of composing to media and to film and so on. Yeah, with a view to maybe doing that one day, which would be nice.
Now, what are you going to go for? The good news is you're already through.
Yeah. I'm lucky that I knew 2 of those, because this is not my strong subject. But I knew 2, so either way I'd be able to say at least 1. So I'm going to go for popcorn and Ben Elton.
Ben Elton, says Alex, for popcorn. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. No red line for you, you're already through. Absolutely right. Very well done. Look at that, 7. This is very impressive, Alex. 7 for popcorn takes your total up to 42.
Very well played. Another good answer. Yeah, Ben Elton from 1996, popcorn.
Thank you. Now, Abby.
Yes. Hello.
Abby, hello.
Hello.
Remind us what you do.
Well, my main day job, I've been a photographer for 25 years, doing portraits and babies and stuff. But I've recently done sort of like a side job as well, which is quite entertaining. I've been working in a call centre for a television sales channel.
Wow.
So it's incoming calls from people wanting to buy stuff.
Who've just seen the thing on the telly.
Yeah, and on it. So,
wow.
So that's actually quite fun, and you get some quite interesting calls.
Yeah, I bet you do. Now then, you're already through. This is good news. You
Yes.
are through. So we want the authors of these literary works. What are you going to go for?
I was going to go for popcorn, so that's a shame. I think I know 2. One of them I only know the surname, so I'll go for, I think Carrie is Stephen King.
Stephen King, says Abby, for Carrie. Let's see if that's right. If it is, let's see how many people said it again. No red line for you, as you're already through. Absolutely right. 31. You match Pam's score. 62 is your total.
That was his first published novel, Carrie. It was his 4th novel he'd written, the first one anyone published. At one point, he threw the whole thing away into the bin, his only copy. And his wife said, no, just get it back out. You never know. You never know.
Carry on.
That's very good.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, Richard.
Hello.
Richard, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you are also from Bristol.
I am, yes.
And what do you do in Bristol?
I do the same thing as my sister does. I'm a civil servant, and I work in the planning inspectorate.
Do you work together?
We're in different sections.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if you wouldn't want to come up against Aggie, would
Well,
you?
this is it.
That would be terrifying. How are you feeling about this round, Richard?
I think I know 2, maybe 3. I think Train Spotting might be Ian McEwan. I think Rebecca is Daphne du Maurier. Twilight, I haven't got an idea. Lolita is Nabokov, I think. Nabokov is surname. And Kidnapped is Robert Louis Stevenson. So I'm going to go for Kidnapped, Robert Louis Stevenson.
Robert Louis Stevenson says Richard for Kidnapped. No red line for you, you're already through. But let's see how many people said Robert Louis Stevenson. ...53, gosh, that's a popular one. Look at that. 53, interestingly, is the highest scoring correct answer we've had this round. Takes your total up to 60, but you are easily through.
This is a big score, isn't it? It's very impressive
it?
name recognition for that.
Yeah.
Let's go through the ones that you said. Rebecca, you're absolutely right, was Daphne du Maurier. That would have scored you 37. Now, Train Spotting is not Ian McEwan.
Irvin Welsh.
Irvin Welsh would have scored you 7 points. Twilight, it's Stephanie Meyer, and that would have scored you 3 points. Now, Lolita, it is written by Nabokov. No one can remember his
It's a
first
Russian
name.
Christian name. It's either... It's
not Ivan.
And it's one of those...
Welcome to Let's Guess Russian First Names. So it wouldn't take long, actually. It's Vladimir.
It is Vladimir.
Yeah, Vladimir.
there we go. Okay.
Would have scored 15 points, that. So the best answer there, Stephanie Meyer.
Good, there we go. Thanks very much, Richard. So at the end of our first round, oh, Joe and Matthew, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Weren't you head-to-head last time?
Yeah, and I think I knew the Stephanie Meyer one as well. But it was in the back of my head. It was in the back of my head.
I know, it's tough, though, yeah. Well, I'm really sorry we have to say goodbye to you. You did so well last time. I honestly thought you were going to go right through this show. But I'm afraid not. We have to say goodbye this round. Thanks very much for playing, Joe and Matthew. Great contestants. But for the remaining 3 pairs, it's now time for round 2. And so now we're just down to 3 pairs. And obviously, there's only going to be room for 2 pairs in our head-to-head round. So we're going to have to say goodbye to another pair at the end of this round. Well, Pam and Abby, nice play. Nice, solid performance.
Thank you.
Consistent, good answers. James Joyce, particularly good there, Pam. Aggie and Richard, also quite close to you there. And then Andrea and Alex. Lovely performance there. Popcorn's a cracking answer. Very, very well done. Yeah, no, you've all done well. Best of luck to all 3 pairs. This is going to be exciting. Our category for round 2 is radio. Radio. Can you all decide your pairs? Who's going to go first? Who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what that question is. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many BBC Radio 2 presenters as they could. BBC Radio 2 presenters. Richard.
We're looking for the name of any presenter who presents their own show regularly on BBC Radio 2, please. And that's according to the Radio 2 website. Not looking for presenters of one-offs or, you know, short series, anything like that. Just anyone with a regular show on BBC Radio 2. Very, very best of luck.
Thanks very much indeed. OK, Richard. Richard, do you listen to the radio?
I do.
Which station do you tend to favour?
I don't listen to Radio 2 anymore, no.
Right. OK.
I think I'll go for Simon Mayo.
Simon Mayo, says Richard. Simon Mayo. Is it right? How many people said it, if it is? Absolutely right. Very well done. 10 for Simon Mayo. Good score.
Well played, Richard. Simon Mayo presents the Drive Time show, spent many years on Radio 1 as well. Does a film review show as well with Mark Commode on 5 Live.
Thanks, Richard. Now, Abby.
Yes.
Abby, do you listen to Radio 2?
I do, actually, yes.
This is good.
So, hoping I should be all right on this. Trying to think of sort of one of the less well-known ones. I'm going to go for Alex Lester, who I think's on about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Is that when,
I think.
Is that when you listen?
Well, when I'm driving back from the call centre, you see.
Oh,
I finish at 2, and so, yeah.
Alex Lester, says Abby. Let's see if Alex Lester's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said that. Sounds brilliant. Absolutely right. Look at that, Alex Lester. Oh, let's see if it pays off. Look at that, 2. Very well done, Abby. Doff my cap to you, Abby. 2 for Alex Lester.
Well played, Abby. Yeah, he presents from 2 o'clock till 5 in the morning. Alex Lester is one of the longest serving presenters on Radio 2.
Thanks very much, Richard. Now, Andrea. Yeah, radio, you see?
If I get this wrong, it's going to be very embarrassing.
You shouldn't get this wrong, Richard. You should have a great answer for this. Do you listen to Radio 2?
I do, and I love Simon Mayo as well, so you nicked my answer.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's quite a few. It's just, I'm wondering which is going to be... I think the one I'm going to go for is on at the weekend, so I'm hoping that's less obvious, maybe. And I'm going to say Dermot O'Leary.
Dermot O'Leary, says Andrea. Let's see if Dermot O'Leary's right. Let's see how many people said it. It is right. Now, 10 is our high score, 2 is our low. Dermot taking us down through the teens. Oh, look at that. Smack bang in the middle there. 6 for Dermot O'Leary.
Well played, Andrea, and as you say, he presents his live music show on the weekends.
Thanks very much. Well, we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at those scores. 2, the best score of that round, Abby. Very well done. Keep that up, Pam, and you should be straight through to the head-to-head. Then up to 6, where we find Andrea and Alex. Then up to 10, where we find Richard and Aggie. So quite neatly spaced there. But, yes, Aggie, we need a particularly low-scoring answer from you to make sure you remain with us. Best of luck with that. We're going to come back down the line now. Can the second players please step up to the podium? OK, so Alex, we're looking for Radio 2 presenters. You're on 6. The high scores at the moment are Aggie and Richard on 10. If you want to avoid becoming the high scorers, a score of 3 or less will keep you safe.
OK. Well, I'm hoping he still does it. I was going to say, I think the Country and Western show is hosted by Bob Harris.
Bob Harris, says Alex. Here comes your red line. It's very low, but let's see if Bob Harris can get you somewhere down there. It's right. Oh! I think that's probably good enough. 4 takes your total up to 10.
Well played, Alex. Yeah, Whispering Bob Harris presents the country show.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, Pam.
I don't listen to the radio at all, I'm afraid. So I'm going to punish Abby now, I'm afraid. Just going to say Tim Vine.
Tim Vine, says Pam. Tim Vine. OK, well, the high scorers jointly at the moment, Aggie and Richard and Alex and Andrea are on 10. You're on 2, so a score of 7 or less is what you need. Tim Vine, it says Pam. There's your red line. Let's see if it's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Tim Vine. Oh, bad luck, Pam. I'm sorry. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer. It scores you the maximum of 100 points and takes your total up to 102.
Sorry, Pam. Yeah, Tim Vine does many things with much skill, but doesn't have a Radio 2 show, I'm afraid.
Sorry.
Thanks very much. Now, Aggie, Radio 2.
Yes, not really my thing. But I will have a punt, and I'm afraid we might get 100 on this. Graham Norton.
Graham Norton, says Aggie. Now, you're on 10. The high scorers are Pam and Abby on 102. 91 or less is what you need. So essentially, this just has to be correct.
Pure guess.
Graham Norton, let's find out. Does he have a show on Radio 2? And if he does, how many people said Graham Norton? It's right, and you're through. Very well done. 7. Well said, Aggie. 7 takes your total up to 17, sees you into the head-to-head.
Graham Norton presents a Saturday morning show, obviously is somewhere in the back of your mind there. Now, Pam, it wasn't Tim Vine you're thinking of, it's Jeremy Vine. Is his brother who presents on Radio 2. Would have scored 20 points anyway, so would have been too many. Let's take a look at the pointless answers, though. Now, Claire Teal presents Big Band Sounds. Dave Pearce does a Saturday night dance show. Diana Louise Jordan does a sort of a religious hour on Sunday mornings. Frank Renton does classical big band music. Huey Morgan used to be in Fun-Loving Criminals. He does a show. Jules Holland does a show on Monday evenings. Russell Davis does a Sunday night show. Steve Lamac's Rock College. And Trevor Nelson does the Soul Show. All of those would have been pointless answers. Let's take a look at the top 3 answers, though, the ones that most of our 100 people said. Ken Bruce, the lovely Ken Bruce. He's been on here, hasn't he? And lovely he was. Would have scored you 24. Terry Wogan would have scored you 27. He does a show at the weekends now. And right at the top, Chris Evans would have scored you 46.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. So, Pam and Abby, I'm afraid that means you'll be leaving us this round. I'm so sorry. It was round 2 last time as well.
I know. Yeah, I know. What can I say?
Oh,
Never
dear,
mind.
I'm so
We tried.
Sorry. Anyway, we have to say goodbye, but it's been lovely having you on the show. Thank you so much for playing. Pam and Abby, lovely contestants. But for the remaining 2 pairs, it's now time for our head-to-head. Congratulations, Andrea, Alex, Aggie and Richard. You're now 1 step closer to the final and a chance to play for our jackpot, which currently stands at £4,500. Now, we need to decide which pair's going to play for that jackpot, and to do that, you're now going to go head-to-head. The difference is you're now allowed to confer before giving your answers, and the first pair to win 2 questions will be playing for that money. Well, you've seen off our 2 returning pairs. Very, very well done indeed. I think this will be very exciting. Let's play the head-to-head. OK, here comes your first question, and it concerns movies, silhouettes and shadows. Movies, silhouettes and shadows, Richard.
We're going to show you 5 pictures now of silhouettes or shadows from scenes in movies. Can you name the films, please? Good luck.
Wow, never done this before. OK, thanks very much. Let's reveal our 5 movie silhouettes or shadows, and here they are. We've got A. Ah, yes. B. C. D. And E. There we are, 5 silhouettes or shadows from movies. Now, Andrea and Alex, you've played best throughout the show so far, so you get to go first.
I think E is not the broad.
Are you sure you're not right there?
Okay, let's go for E.
Is it B, sunshine?
We're going to go for E, and I think that's Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, say Andrea and Alex. Now, Aggie and Richard, the board is all yours. Talk us through it.
We were going to say that. I thought A might be The Exorcist, but not sure. C's E.T. and D is Fantasia. Not sure about B. What do you think, Fantasia or...?
Yeah, I think
We'll
so.
say that D is Fantasia.
Fantasia, say Aggie and Richard for D. So we have Nosferatu and we have Fantasia. Andrea and Alex said Nosferatu. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many people said that. It is right. Look at that, 18. 18 for Nosferatu. That looks pretty good to me. Aggie and Richard have gone for Fantasia. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. Fantasia. It's right. $26. Quite close. But very well done, Andrea and Alex. After 1 question, you're up 1-0.
Well played, both teams there. I think I heard you say all the answers in your deliberations, because A was The Exorcist. Would have scored you 24 points, so would have scored you much the same as you got. Now, B, I think, Andrea, you had an idea on?
I'm pretty sure that's Sunshine.
That's right. Danny Boyle's film Sunshine would have scored you 3 points. Would have been a great answer.
Well, doesn't matter.
C is obviously E.T. It's a big scorer, as you could imagine. 89 points for E.T.
Thanks very much indeed. So here comes your second question, Aggie and Richard. You have to get this one to stay in the game, but you do get to answer it first, so best of luck. It concerns songs with numbers in their titles. Songs with numbers in their titles, Richard.
We're going to show you the titles of 5 songs, all of which have a number in their title, but we've removed the number. Can you fit it in, please?
OK, let's reveal our 5 numbers with numbers removed, and here they are. We have got Song Blank, Blur, When I'm Blank, The Beatles, Cloud Blank, The Temptations, Blank Minutes to Go, Johnny Cash, and Blank Degrees of Separation, The Script. I'll read those one last time. Song Blank, Blur, When I'm Blank, The Beatles, Cloud Blank, The Temptations, Blank Minutes to Go, Johnny Cash, and Blank Degrees of Separation, The Script. Aggie and Richard, you go first.
Well, 164. I think it's cloud number 9. I think. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's right.
I know song 2. We're going to try the Blur song and say it's song 2.
Song 2, say Aggie and Richard. Song 2. Andrea and Alex, the board is yours. Talk us through it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's song 2.
Yeah. Obviously, When I'm 64 by
Yeah.
the Beatles. Now, Temptations one,
Is it
I don't
Cloud
know.
9?
I'd have thought. Guessed at Cloud 9.
I would guess it, but I don't know it.
Johnny Cash one, despite this shirt, I don't know.
I was hoping you would know, because
No.
that's the only one I'm not sure on.
No. And what's the script one?
The script one is 6 Degrees of Separation.
Which one? Should we just go for the script?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we'll go for 6 Degrees of Separation, the script.
You're going to say 6 degrees of separation. Aggie and Richard have said song 2. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said song 2. at that, 18. 18 for song 2. Now then, Andrea and Alex have said 6 degrees of separation by the script. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said that. Is right. Now, where's that going to stop? Whoa, look at that, 19. Wow. I said this was going to be a close head-to-head. Couldn't be closer at this stage. After that, well done, Aggie and Richard. You're back in the game. It is 1-1 after 2 questions.
It's some pretty high-quality stuff so far, isn't it? I have to say. You were probably both best to avoid the obvious ones. Well, When I'm 64 by the Beatles would have scored you 75 points. Now, the other one is less well-known, but Cloud 9 from The Temptations would have scored you 81 points. Now, the best answer on the board by a long way is 25 Minutes to Go by Johnny Cash. No guessing that one if you didn't know it. 3 points. Very well done if you said that at home.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. So here comes your third question. This is the decider. Whoever wins this goes through to the final and plays for that jackpot. Best of luck to both pairs. It concerns extreme weather. Extreme weather, Richard.
I'm going to show you 5 clues now to facts about extreme weather. Can you give us the most obscure answer? Very, very best of luck to both teams.
Thanks very much. Let's reveal our 5 clues, and here they come. We have got name of the 2006 Oscar-winning documentary about climate change, the century of Britain's worst recorded storm, which killed over 8,000 people, a pluviometer is used to measure this aspect of the weather, the country in which there was a volcanic eruption that closed airspace in 2010, and the BBC weatherman who famously said there was no hurricane on its way on the eve of the Great Storm of 1987. I'll read those all one last time. Name of the 2006 Oscar-winning documentary about climate change, the century of Britain's worst recorded storm, which killed over 8,000 people. A pluviometer is used to measure this aspect of the weather, the country in which there was a volcanic eruption that closed airspace in 2010, and the BBC weatherman who famously said there was no hurricane on its way on the eve of the Great Storm of 1987. Now then, Andrea and Alex, you go first this time.
I know that Al Gore did it, but I can't remember what it was called. I can't think.
OK, yeah, I think we're going to have to go with the country and say Iceland.
You're going to say Iceland, the country in which there was a volcanic eruption, Iceland. Now then, Aggie and Richard, talk us through the rest of the board.
Do you know the name of the Oscar documentary?
Don't know
that
that
one.
I could guess at the century of Britain's worst recorded storm, but I'm not revealing that yet. And I think a pluviometer is used to measure rain.
And the BBC weatherman was Michael Fish.
Which everybody should know.
Which do you think?
I think pluviometer is used to measure rain.
Aggie and Richard are saying the pluviometer is used to measure rain.
Wonderful.
So, we have Iceland versus rain. This to decide who goes through to the final. Andrea and Alex said Iceland. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said Iceland. It's absolutely right. Oh, that's a high score. Look at that, 74. Aggie and Richard have said a pluviometer is used to measure rain. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said rain. It's right. And it wins you the point. Very well done indeed. 42. Which means, Aggie and Richard, after 3 questions, you are through to the final 2-1.
Yeah, it was the Eyjafjallajökull volcano, of course, as you probably were about to tell us. Now, you both knew the film, the Al Gore film about climate change, but neither team could remember the title. It was An Inconvenient Truth. Would have been a terrific answer, would have scored you 6 points. Now, Richard, you had an idea on the century of the storm.
Something in my mind said it would be the 17th century.
Nearly. It was actually in 1703, so the 18th century. Yes, cut across huge swathes of East Anglia. Would have scored you 5 points there. It destroyed 400 windmills, destroyed most of them by burning them down because of the friction of the sails were spinning so wildly. They caught light. That's a storm.
That is a storm.
That is a storm.
Yeah.
And the BBC weatherman, it was Michael Fish, of course, actually only scored 65 points.
Wow.
So that is good news for Michael Fish. A third of us have forgotten.
poor old Michael Fish, except we've just reminded everyone again. Thanks very much indeed. So at the end of our head-to-head round, I'm afraid the pair heading away is Andrea and Alex. But you know, it's good news for us, because it means we get to see you again next time. And we will look forward to that very much indeed. You've played so well throughout the show today. I'm sure you'll do even better next time. But we'll look forward to that, as I say. Thanks very much for playing, Andrea and Alex. But for Aggie and Richard, it's now time for our Pointless Final. Congratulations, Aggie and Richard. You've seen off all the competition and you've won our coveted Pointless trophy. You now have a chance to win our Pointless Jackpot, and at the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £4,500. That's turning into quite a decent little jackpot there. Well, you've done pretty well. What would you like to see come up in this last round?
Bit of sport, because he's very good at sport. Maybe music, film, perhaps something a little bit off the wall, maybe, that we could have a go at, but we'll see what happens.
OK, well, best of luck. As always, you start this round off by choosing a category, and you have 4 options. They are girl bands, ancient Rome, France, Alan Bennett.
You reckon Alan Bennett?
Well, if you know. I don't know.
It depends what it is. We can have a go at Alan Bennett then.
OK.
We'll try Alan Bennett, Sander, please.
OK, we say we'll try Alan Bennett. If we don't like it, we'll have something else. OK.
We'll have a go.
You'll try Alan Bennett. They're trying Alan Bennett, Richard.
OK, here are your 3 options. Hopefully there's something here for you. We are looking for the name of any of the original cast members on the National Theatre production of The History Boys. So any of the actors who were in that play, please. We are looking for any actor who has a credit in the film version of The Madness of King George. Or we're looking for anyone who delivered any of the Talking Heads monologues that Alan Bennett wrote, other than Alan Bennett himself. We won't accept him. So anyone who acted in the original stage production of The History Boys, anyone in the film of Madness of King George, or any Talking Heads monologue actors. Very, very best of luck, and good luck at home as well.
Thanks very much. Now, as always, you've got up to a minute to come up with 3 answers, and all you need to win that jackpot of £4,500 is for just one of those answers to be pointless. Now, remember, your answers can come from any of those categories. It's entirely up to you which categories. It can be all 3 from one from each. As I say, entirely up to you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We are.
Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. There they are. Your time starts now.
Right, History Boys. James Corden definitely was in it.
Yeah.
Richard Griffiths.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure if Frances de la Tour was, but
Right.
she's definitely in the film. It may well be that she was in that. Right. Madness of King George, I'm thinking Nigel Hawthorne, Helen Mirren. I'm trying to think who else might have been in it. It could be any amount of English actors. Talking Heads monologue, well, definitely Dame Thora Hird was
Patricia
one.
Routledge.
Patricia Routledge. So maybe I think the Madness of King George might be fairly high. We could go for maybe James Corden, Frances de la Tour, and maybe Patricia Routledge or Dame Thora Hird.
10 seconds left.
Which do you think? I'm just thinking I can think of anyone else in the Madness of King George. Okay.
That's your time up. OK, I now need your 3 answers. When you say what your answers are, will you say which category they're in?
Okay. Well, we'll say from the History Boys.
Yep.
James Corden.
James Corden.
Frances de la Tour.
Frances de la Tour.
And from Talking Heads, Patricia Routledge.
Patricia Routledge. Now, of those 3 answers, which do you think is your best shot at a pointless answer?
Well, if it's right, Frances de la Tour.
Frances de la Tour, we shall put last. Which is your least likely?
Patricia Routledge.
Patricia Routledge.
Yeah.
OK, let's pop those up on the board in that order, and here they are. We have got Patricia Routledge, James Corden, and Frances de la Tour. Well, very, very best of luck. 3 pretty good answers up there. Your first answer was Patricia Routledge. Now, if this is correct and it is pointless, you will leave here with a jackpot of £4,500. That's quite a nice jackpot. What would you do with that?
Well, I've just had part of my roof mended, and that could go towards the rest of it.
Good. Good use for £2,250.
Nice and safe.
Yes, exactly. Safe as houses. Aggie.
Well, Sander, I'm a bit of a cumber babe. follower of...
You like cucumber, yes.
No, a follower of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right.
So I would probably come to London, have a mini break, go to the theatre...
and hang about on set.
Hang about on set, you know, as one does.
Stalking.
Yes.
OK, now, let's find out. Patricia Routledge, your first answer for £4,500. Was she in one of the talking heads? She was. I think you knew she was. The question really was whether or not this was going to go down to 0. Well, it's going through the 20s, through the teens, into single figures. Down she goes. Oh, 5. 5 for Patricia Routledge. Five, not a bad score at all. No. Your second answer was James Corden. And again, if this is correct, and if it's pointless, you will win that jackpot. So for £4,500, was James Corden in the original cast of The History Boys? Yes, he was. Your first answer was Patricia Routledge, took you down to 5. James Corden is now taking you down through the 30s, into the 20s, down into the teens, still 15. I'd say probably a very memorable character actor from that cast. But still, not a bad score. Not a bad score at all. So everything is now resting on your last answer, Francis de la Tour. Now, you're not sure if this is absolutely right. No. If it is right, it could be a lovely low score. It could even possibly win you that jackpot. So let's find out. Your last chance for £4,500. Was Francis de la Tour in the original cast of The History Boys? Yes, she was. Your first answer was Patricia Routledge, took you down to 5. James Corden took you down to 15. Now then, Francis de la Tour taking you down in single figures. Down she goes, still going down. Yes, she's done it! Very well done indeed. Very well done. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, congratulations, Francis de la Tour. A correct answer, a pointless answer, which means you go home with that jackpot of £4,500. This is great news for your roof. This is
not so great for Benedict.
Interesting news for Benedict Cumberbatch. But very, very well done all round. That's fantastic. Richard.
Yeah, how about that? What could be more British than someone who works in planning regulation, winning an episode of Pointless with an Anna Bennett question? It's very impressive. I'm going to give the pointless answers to all the different categories here. There's some brilliant actors up here in these different categories. So, for History Boys actors, you could have Clive Merrison, who plays the headmaster. Dominic Cooper was a pointless answer. There's Francis de la Tour and Samuel Anderson. In fact, everybody except James Corden, Richard Griffiths and Russell Tovey were pointless for that. So anyone in that cast apart from those three was a pointless answer. So the Madness of King George actors, Adrian Scarborough, Geoffrey Palmer was a pointless answer, Janine Davitsky, Julian Rhind-Tutt, he was a pointless answer. Well done if you said any of those. And three wonderful actors here in the Talking Heads series. David Haig was a pointless answer, the lovely Penelope Wilton and Stephanie Cole as well. Congratulations if you've got any of those at home. Congratulations in the studio, that was terrific work.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, thanks once again to our winning players, Aggie and Richard, who go home with today's jackpot of £4,500. Very well done. Join us next time when we'll be putting more obscure knowledge to the test on Pointless. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard. Goodbye. And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.